How about now? We got anything now?
I see the green LED light.
I see it here. I'm just not sure that's the right one. How about now, folks? Do I have some sound now? Is there a chance? Are you telling me I've got a chance? How about now? Yes, thank you, Milton.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we apologize for all that. Mike Jacobs is going to join us. I don't know why I have to keep redoing all these settings, but it's really aggravating, and I'll just get mad and get rid of all this and get me something else. I've seen me do it. I don't know why, but I've seen me do it.
The head coach at LR we were talking about between us. But he's going to join us in a couple of minutes, talk about recruiting, talk about the upcoming season, especially recruiting with National Signing Day last Wednesday. And, the news came out recently, Lanny, that the Bears are going to play their second game of the season against the defending national champions. Mm-hmm. We'll get some thoughts on, what happened. How did that come about, and some other things as well. And some new players with the recruits, but also some new coaches. Mm-hmm. He's lost a couple of coaches. He's adding an offensive line coach. He lost his quarterback coach, and we found out tonight that he's losing his defensive coordinator. So there's some changes afoot in the coaching staff, but mainly we'll talk about recruiting and definitely a football, centered show this week.
We've got I've got a lot of moving pieces, just so you'll know. I do want to welcome the audience down at WLON in Lincoln, 107.5 and 1050 a.m. Morning Man Tim Johnson said he's got me. The problem was we didn't have our sound going through our video feed that we had. And I'm going to get all that. That's going to get worked out, I promise. But we'll be on here every Monday night from 6 to 7. Hubert Davis, Carolina Coaches Show, comes on right after us. And if we're not live from 6 to 7 at night, we'll run the morning show that we do from 8 to 9, and that'll be on every night. Hey, Stephen, good evening. Glad to have you. Milton, Corey out in Colorado. His son's still out up there. Miss Kay, good evening to you. Glad to have you guys. Thanks for joining in with us tonight. Coach Mike Jacobs, as we said, is going to join us. Also, Coach Mike Mackey. He's the AD, and he's the head football, basketball, baseball
coach at
Northview.
Yeah.
Been in the Hickory school system for 29 years, and he's going to join us a little bit later on, talk a little bit about his career. Been in football. His football record, 5 conference titles, 126 wins, 68 losses. Baseball was 116-94 with 2 conference titles. Basketball's 306 and 148 with 13 conference titles, 6 undefeated seasons. Overall coaching record in middle school, 606 and 354, 22 conference championships. Something to be proud of. Also, in dual team wrestling, 2 state champions inside Catawba County, and it's not St. Stephen's.
Yeah, they won one in 2019. Mm-hmm. This year, Fred T. Ford and Bandy's bring home the hardware.
They bring home the hardware, so congratulations to them. The individual tournaments get underway this weekend. I know that one of the regional sites is at West Lincoln. I don't know who all's coming up there, but that is one of the regional sites.
As we turn to that, and congratulations to head coach Mike Carey. Hope to have him on coming up in the very near future, talking about Fred T. Ford wrestling. But right now we're going to talk a little football, a little gridiron talk here as we talk college football, and the head coach of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears, Mike Jacobs, online.
Coach, you got
us?
Guys, how you doing great. Juju was telling us it was almost like a good fishing trip. You had a big haul on signing day last week.
We did. They were biting, and it was good. It was a good day for LR.
He was saying that you had some regular incoming high school students. You also had some transfers. So one of the things that you figured out that some coaches are struggling a little bit with, you need to take advantage of that transfer portal. There may be some things that can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I believe strongly in building our program and the foundation of our program with high school student athletes in a 6-hour radius. However, there's certain times you need needs or you have needs at certain positions, and there's also opportunity where because it's easier for kids to leave your program in the portal, you can't always replace that experience with a freshman. And so, we've taken the opportunity. We signed 40 kids on signing day on Wednesday. I think 34 of those young men were high school student athletes, and then there were 6 mid-year players. And really of those 6 guys that we took out of the portal, a number of them were kids that we had highly recruited when they were coming out of high school.
Coach, was it more normal to you, this recruiting cycle, getting back into the swing of things after what happened over the last couple of years with COVID and everything?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It was, if you look back, I got hired, real late December of 2019. So we had about just over 30 days to put together our first recruiting class for that class of 2020. And, did a number of good things. Dwayne McGee came out of that class, John Ross May. There's a number of high-profile players that are playing a bunch of football for us, but we only had 30 days to do it. And then last year, with the way COVID was and high school rules, our own college rules, we really weren't able to go out on the road. Most of our recruiting was done via Zoom, via phone. We were fortunate enough that the NCAA at the Division II level did allow us to have campus visitors, but where you used to see a kid in his home, in his school, maybe watch him play basketball or wrestle, none of those things really happened for the 21 class. And then, really, with the restart on summer camps beginning this June of 21, all the way through this 2022 signing day, we were able to get back to what I consider a much more normal schedule.
What did you like about this year's group? I noticed a heck of a lot of linemen, especially offensive linemen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've been coaching 22 years now, and at the D3 level, or at the D2 level, for 13 now, and I think this is the deepest group of high school offensive linemen that we've signed. There's a number of local kids in that group, some Shrine Bowl guys, and even a couple legacies, but I feel that group top to bottom may be the best position. I thought we addressed a number of needs at the wide receiver position. We're excited about what was already on our roster, but I think, the addition of Diari Rogers, of Darius Bowers, of Dominique Marshall, who's a transfer and already on campus, I think those guys are going to add to the dynamics of our room.
We're talking with Coach Mike Jacobs, head coach of the Lenore Ryan Bears. Coach, Juju and I were talking about also before we went on air, the elephant in the room. Grayson Willingham has been such a fixture at Lenore Ryan. I told Juju I couldn't say he's graduated because I think he's graduated. He just ran out of eligibility after everything happened. So that's got to be a key part, something you're working on for the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the movie quote from Tommy Boy, right? Lots of people stay in college for 9 years. Yeah. They're doctors. I think Grayson Willingham's been here as long as anybody, and will go down as one of the absolute great LR players of all time. But with graduation comes change, and I think it makes the spring really exciting because for the first time in 5 or 6 years now, you can look out there and our quarterback room knows that there's probably a legitimate competition. Mm-hmm. And, there's guys that are in the unique situation like Sean White, who, he's been in college 2 full years, but he had between COVID year and a redshirt year, he's still going to be a freshman eligibility wise. And so, he's got a chance. Austin Cagle, Jalen Ferguson, and Dawson Cox are 4 kids that are going to get a ton of reps this spring for us, and we'll have a legitimate chance to win the starting job.
Well, competition makes everybody better. There are some people, some kids, some players that don't like the competition, but the competition's what makes the team better.
Absolutely. The iron sharpens iron, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's good. I think when your offense challenges your defense and vice versa, I think then internally, positionally, guys can't get complacent if they know they got somebody, biting at their heels.
Coach, what was it like when you were talking about recruiting with everything that's going on over at LR with the new facilities going up and everything? What was it like bringing kids on campus over the last couple of months?
It's been fantastic. I believe relationships established at that time are the foundation for what becomes a really good college experience. And as far as what we've done in the weight room with that complete brand new weight room, and then now what we're doing with the roughly $18 million stadium renovation, there's really not many people at the Division II level, if any, that from a facility standpoint can say they're as committed to football as LR has been that way. And that's really a testament to our administration. Dr. Witt, our president, our vice president of athletics, Kim Pate, they have been unwavering, even in challenging times, to push forward and push the envelope for our student athletes. And, ultimately that also goes back not just for our administration for having the vision, but, our Bears Club and all the Bears supporters that have given to this project or these projects over the last few years. It's on a different level, and that's what makes LR so special.
And, that's what it takes. It takes that grassroots approach from the bottom up. That's how you grow things. You can't start at the top. You got to grow it from the bottom up, and it's got to come administration from the teachers, from everybody has to kind of buy in. But there's been a lot of growth and expansion at LR, and I think that will start if we can ever kind of turn the corner and get back to a quote-unquote normal type situation. I think you'll really start to see some of the rewards that come from that.
Absolutely. I think even with the limitations, our staff has done a tremendous job upping the profile of what a student athlete, a football student athlete, looks like at LR, both on the field and in the classroom. I think, we signed 40 guys on signing day. I think the average GPA, if you average it out, it's going to be just under 3.4. So, not only do we think we're getting elite football players that can compete nationally, we think we're getting elite people. And, it's just a matter of time before these young guys and the nuance of the roster, right? We had 86 guys with freshman eligibility last year. I mean, think about that. That's a lot. We still go 8-3, go to our third playoff in a row, and we're in the thick of it for a conference championship for a while. But there's a lot of young kids that are just scratching the surface of how good they may really be.
Coach, a couple of weeks ago, the story came out about the schedule change of seeing Ferris State, the defending national champions, coming to Hickory and LR early in the season next year. Can you kind of talk about the backstory and how that happened?
Sure. One of the most challenging things at our level is to schedule. And when you've had the continued and ongoing success that our program has had at LR, it's hard to find opponents that'll stick with you or that'll schedule you, period, right? A lot of the FCS schools won't schedule us because there's really no benefit, right? And then, or on their end. And then on our end, it's hard to find Division II games. And with conferences adding teams and getting bigger and going to closed schedules, it becomes even more challenging to actually schedule games. So, here we are. We lost. We were supposed to play a team, and they had an opportunity to play in an HBC kickoff classic that, I think would benefit their program, and they backed out on us. And so, we start searching, and, there's other teams that we potentially could have played, but, if we want to be a national program, who better than the national champions to play and to showcase our program, right? It's about showcasing LR football, and I think it'll be an unbelievable litmus test for our players early in a season where, we have an opportunity to have the defending national champion in our brand new facility.
That is impressive. Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, you talked about recruiting and all the players, the 40 guys that you've signed, but you've also had to do some recruiting as well in terms of putting your coaching staff together. There have been some changes there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a little bit of, when you hire really good people and you have success, that breeds opportunity. And, just recently, Jamal Brown was offered the defensive coordinator job at Youngstown State. And, he's been an amazing friend and an unbelievable loyal assistant for us for a number of years prior to even LR. But, with Coach Brown's leaving, we've promoted Sean Chafee to defensive coordinator and Aaron Foster to co-defensive coordinator, and we'll look to refill that linebacker coaching position. And then, our quarterback coach, Colby Hunter, who was a West Coast guy, ended up heading back out west. He got a great opportunity at the high school level, a little more consistency for his family. And so with that move, we've moved Anthony Soto from offensive coordinator, offensive line to offensive coordinator, quarterbacks for some stability in that room. And we've added Jake Thomas as our offensive line coach. And Jake played at Division II Power Azusa Pacific out west prior to them dropping their program due to COVID. So, the thing I always tell our kids is change is inevitable, but what I can do is I can promise them I'll hire somebody as good, if not better, than the guy that just left.
Yeah. When you're speaking about change, we had Dr. Amy Wood on, a couple of weeks ago, and we asked her about, speaking about change, how do you think with the new NCAA Constitution that came out, how is it going to affect Division II football in the future, in your opinion?
I think there'll be ramifications that we can't even begin to even think about right now. I think that, a lot of that stuff was very tailored and tempered and directed at Division I football and the FBS. And so, once they sort it out, how will it trickle down to our level? I don't know. I think the people that are diligent in recruiting high school players right now are seeing better high school players available to recruit because they're losing opportunity at the FBS and FCS level due to the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. So if that trend continues, those of us who are still in the high school business will continue to see an uptick in the talent level that we're able to recruit.
And that's a big part of it. I've come out and said, and I'm very serious about this. With the way the transfer portal is, when you talk about FBS, when you talk about the transfer portal, you talk about NIL, you've almost got free agency, but legally in college.
Yeah, not almost. It is. It's there, especially in the Southeastern Conference, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, it's full-blown free agency.
Yeah, but you're not seeing it affect when you get down Division II, or maybe not even FCS as much. But once you get out of that FBS and even the power programs, that's really where it's starting to take effect.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing is that, kids told the NCAA they wanted a voice. They see coaches leaving with little repercussion. They wanted to have some say in having a little more flexibility to what they're going to do. And I don't know that we'll fully see the ramifications of where we're at with the portal right now for a number of years. I know it makes it a lot tougher for kids to stick through things.
Yeah, because it makes it so easy to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, and I like some of the things as far that were circumstance-based because of how coaches can move about freely. If a coach recruits you and moves, you need to have the ability to do that, because I know when I went years and years ago, I wanted to play at Clemson, but I also wanted to play for Coach Pell and for Coach Ford, and that there was a relationship thing there, and I think a lot of kids do the same thing.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I mean, that's the foundation for what we do, is try to build really strong relationships. Yep. And sometimes those bonds are as tight as even the loyalty to the school in certain instances.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always. I'll ask you one more quick question, because I had one of our listeners ask, you've got some kids that have come in from East Surrey. Of course, there's a local connection here with Coach Lohman up there, and a connection back to LR. He said he was really excited seeing how some of those kids progress.
Yeah, Coach Lohman's he's done a great job up there at East Surrey, and we know if we're getting kids from his program, they're tough. They've been coached well. They've been coached hard, and they're going to come in and do things the right way on and off the field. And we're super excited to have Layton Allen and Sam Witt join our program from this year's recruiting class, and I think those guys will be great additions to our program.
Coach Mike Jacobs, LR Bears, we appreciate your time as always. Best of luck. I know we'll be chatting when spring season gets started.
Absolutely. Have a great one, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
we
Coach.
appreciate it. That's Coach Mike Jacobs. And, there's a lot of things going. He's got to be excited about the number of high school kids, because that's just like we talk about in basketball, the teams that do the best in the NCAA tournament are the teams that's got some senior leadership, teams that's got some years under their belts. And it's the same thing on any level in any sport.
Yeah, and I think even when you're looking at the FBS level and some of these teams that normally would not be contenders, and I'm speaking like Pitt, Wake Forest, they got a lot of guys that are going to be fifth-year seniors or sixth-year seniors. Pitt's having their whole entire offensive line come back because they got that extra year of eligibility. Wake Forest doing the same thing. And I think that's helped some of these middle-of-the-road programs
I think you're right.
elevate.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Let me take a break, and when we come back, we'll catch up with Mike Mackey in just a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about some other things going on in sports when we return.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things. Like finding a new favorite shirt. That answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things. Like finding a new favorite shirt. That answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things. Like finding a new favorite shirt. That answer when you call, so you can worry about more.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call Fore Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. I apologize. I'm still learning how all this works. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We just kind of had to hodgepodge a few things together to make it work, but we're good. It's all good. Programming note, and I missed this somehow, no Hubert Davis show tonight. That is Wednesday night. The Carolina Basketball Coaches Show is Wednesday night.
Okay. And Duke is playing tonight, right? Right afterwards?
Different station.
Okay. Well, Duke is playing tonight. They're playing, I think, Virginia. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
Playing Virginia. Doesn't apply to us, but that's okay. It's a good thought, Juju. It was a good thought. Let me catch a couple headlines that we've got. I appreciate everybody's patience and listening.
Yes, indeed.
And let's see. I know that there we go, ESPN. Some of the topics that came out, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, running back.
Yeah.
Got in trouble.
He got in trouble, DUI, if I'm not mistaken. This is also says the Saints are to hire defense coordinator Allen as head coach. He is currently the defense coordinator, I'm guessing, at the Saints.
Dennis Allen.
Yeah. And looks like they're gonna hire him as their head coach.
Texans are close.
Miami has a new head coach.
Yeah.
And he was the offensive coordinator at
the 49ers.
At the 49ers, and he is biracial, mixed racial, whatever it's called.
Person of color.
Person of color. And so that hire in Miami. So I think, and I see that here, Texans expect to hire Lovie Smith.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like Lovie.
Retread, though.
I've always liked Lovie, though. Yeah.
He's
I didn't think he had a prayer at the Bucs, and I thought he did well with what he had at Chicago. He has an 89-87 record as a head coach and was the 2005 AP Coach of the Year. I like the hire of Doug Peterson.
Oh, yeah, I like
Jacksonville.
That one. Yeah,
I think that'll be good for Trevor. I was a little disappointed. I thought that help me, Tampa Bay offense coordinator.
Oh, yeah, Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich. I'm still not convinced that Bruce Arians doesn't hang it up. I don't know that he wants to go through this rebuild.
Yeah, and he's been able to keep both his coordinators because his defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, was also a candidate for some of these jobs as well. So he's kept both of those guys, and I would not be surprised if one of those guys is elevated eventually.
So
as head coach.
So I'm guessing now this says promoting Lovie Smith. Was he already on the staff?
He was. He was the defensive coordinator.
He was the defense coordinator.
Yes.
Okay. So that kind of makes sense, and it may be that there's a relationship there with Deshaun Watson that they can restore that and keep Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, stuff that you read, you thought that maybe the Flores guy would have a relationship with Deshaun Watson.
Because he wanted to go to Miami.
Yeah. And definitely Flores had a relationship with the front office with the Texans, who came from New England when he was there. Up there as an assistant coach under Belichick.
So what does that leave open? Minnesota, and if the Saints are going to make that.
Minnesota
That's right.
They hired a guy with a funny last name. I can't remember his last name. Or is that Chicago?
I don't.
I think they're all filled now.
4 hours ago, ESPN said the current remaining jobs were the Vikings and the Saints.
Okay, then maybe Minnesota's the last
one. The Bears hired the guy that's Eberflus. Eberflus, yeah. I think he was in the Cat in the Hat.
He was.
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real one, not the fake one, the real one. Because Cat in the Hat is real, just in case anybody's want. Love that. Milton said Flores burned the house down. That is correct.
Yeah, he did.
It'll be hard, I think, for him to get a job in the league.
I know.
Now, I'm not saying he didn't have a right to do what he did. I'm not saying that what he said happened didn't happen. I'm just saying, just knowing how the league is, that may hurt him in the future, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that just leaves one job, and that would be the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And were you surprised? Apparently, Harbaugh was interested in the Vikings. The Vikings weren't interested in Harbaugh.
Yeah, he went for an interview. He went for 1 or 2 interviews, and I guess he explored it and wanted to get it out. He said he wanted to get out of his system. He's not going to look to jump to the NFL anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait and see. But I guess he got a new deal, and he's refurbished and rejuvenated now going back to Michigan.
Any interest, or have you watched any of the Olympics?
None. I have
Can't watch skating. I watched a little luge. I like luge. I like bobsledding. Any kind of – well, I'm not big on the aerial stuff, the moguls and then the 3 jumps. Not really big on that. Any of the alpine, the downhill stuff, because I love skiing. I'm a skier.
I don't think – I think there's a hockey match on tonight.
No, I'm not watching that.
The USA and Canada.
I'm not watching that.
I think it's a women's hockey, and we're supposed to be pretty good. That would interest me a little bit.
Okay.
But time difference, there's like 13, 14-hour time difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And no, I'm not setting my DVR so I can watch it live. No, I'm good. How about this one? This came out this afternoon. Major League Baseball, which we're in the midst of a work stoppage.
We are.
Major League Baseball has stopped testing players for steroids for the first time in nearly 20 years due to the expiration of the sports drug agreement. 2 people familiar with the sports joint drug program, isn't that an interesting title, told the AP. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity Monday because no public announcement was made. The halt in testing is a casualty of the sports lockout and a provision in the joint drug agreement that states termination date and time of the program should be 11/59, December 1st, 2021. Now, will they get it back in?
I'm sure they'll negotiate it back in if and when they get started again and start baseball up.
Do we have baseball this year?
Oh, yeah, we'll have baseball. I don't know what it'll look like. I'm sure we'll have close to 60-some games. My guess is, just my sense, that stuff that I've read, neither side and you've always heard that the 6-week spring training, Landy, is too long.
Mm-hmm.
That players get bored. That, they play 2 or 3 innings of a game, spring training game, and they put in all the rookies and minor leaguers and stuff. So the guys get bored after a few weeks. My guess is you'll see a shortened spring training, maybe starting late.
Didn't we have a shortened spring training with the COVID year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And baseball survived the whole season?
They did.
Wow.
Even the COVID
amazing.
year.
That's amazing.
But I think you'll see a shortened spring training, and probably the season will start a little bit later.
Okay.
Maybe in 1st of April instead of the end of March. I think.
Steven says, go Jamaican bobsled team. Mm-hmm. Corey, I forgot about that, Corey. NASCAR raced at the L.A. Coliseum yesterday. Now, that was the Busch Duels, the
Busch Clash.
The Busch Clash that the preliminary to Daytona. And that's the first time it hasn't been in Daytona, isn't it? Wasn't that always an event that accompanied it?
Yeah.
It didn't look very big, and I don't know how it was received.
It was a quarter-mile track.
Yeah, and fairly flat.
Yeah, well, it was in the L.A. Coliseum. They had it looked like a pretty good crowd. I'm guessing somewhere in the neighborhood of 70,000.
Corey's one of my ball players. He used to be involved with the Furniture Row racing team. Now he's got his own business, but he was with that Furniture Row team for a while and based out in Colorado.
A lot of crashes. I'm sure those guys were pretty ticked off at each other. I thought they were going to come to blows a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I watched it more. What it reminded me of is seeing and watching the few races that I've watched at Hickory Speedway or Bristol.
Steven just said that. Said it looked like Saturday night at Hickory Motor Speedway.
It sure did.
And Hickory is a 3/8 mile, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Just a little over a quarter, so it's not much. To me, I just think it's getting a little too gimmicky. No, that's just me. I just think it's a little gimmicky in the way that they kind of do it. But
it's the Busch Clash, so it's an exhibition.
NASCAR's looking for something, and they've not figured out. if you don't modify the product, you can't just put it to a new location. We're going to go run a race where OJ used to run touchdowns. It's not that simple. You got to change how it works, and the cars have gotten so cookie cutter now that's when I really lost faith. All right, let me take a timeout, and when we come back, Mike Mackey will join us right here on the Bottom Line.
Or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with department staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back. Ooh, I got my headphones just a little bit hot there. Let me turn those down. Yeah, I get that. I'll let you take over.
I'll do that. Let me do On This Day while you're doing that. On This Day in sports history. 1882, the last bare-knuckle fight for heavyweights in boxing occurred, and the fight took place in Mississippi. In 1949, the first six-figure contract, speaking of baseball, and it went out to New York Yankees outfielder Joe DiMaggio, who earned $100,000 in 1949. In 1965, Cassius Clay began using the name Muhammad Ali for the very first time. In 1985, the largest Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue was put on the shelves. It was released on this day. Back in 1985, 218 pages. Man, oh man, were the teenagers gaga over that, huh? 1988, Mike Tyson and Robin Givens got married for the first time. Lasted a short period. 1994, Michael Jordan signed a contract to play baseball. Everybody thought he was going to play in his minor leagues with the Hickory Crawdads. He wound up playing with the Birmingham Barons. On this day in 1994, he signed his baseball contract. And in 1997, football note, Jim Kelly retired as quarterback with the Buffalo Bills.
Let me give you two things that based on your On This Day, okay? I got Mike Mackey on the line with us. But two things that I'm going to give you. Friday night, we were sitting at a place called the Blue Moose. It's a local bar and grill kind of place up in Pigeon Forge.
Okay.
Always stop. Anytime I'm there, we always stop. The majority of folks ordered the same dish, okay, and that dish is a grilled cheese cheeseburger. That is where you take 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and you replace the bun of a cheeseburger with 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, okay? I had a wrap. I had like a Philly wrap that was extraordinary, and we had some onion rings and what else we have? Cheese fries. Those did not last long, and I can't remember what the other thing was. And then the I tell you that to tell you this.
I was wondering
on the TVs. On the TVs in the bar, was bare knuckle fighting.
Oh, really?
Yes, they didn't have anything on the hands, and they were in a regular boxing ring.
Yeah.
But that was pretty impressive.
I think it was Jack Johnson.
Yeah, that sounds right.
One of the bare knuckle champions.
Mike, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
I don't mean to bore you, I promise. Then the last thing I'm going to say, when I was in elementary school, this would have been in my latter years, which would have been early mid-'70s. You know, in the library, you had the newspaper rack with the big long things where they thread up the newspaper, and then you had the magazine rack. When the swimsuit edition came out, they never put that issue of Sports Illustrated. They thought that was too risque for the students.
Well, in 1988, is it when
I'm just saying, the swimsuit had been around for a lot of years.
But not 218 pages.
No. Okay. All right, Mike, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I had to take care of this.
Entertainment at its finest.
Thank you. Mike Mackey, AD middle school, had football, basketball, baseball, bus driver in the Hickory school system for 26 years. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Are you retiring from teaching, retiring from coaching? What? Give us the full story here.
Yes.
I like that. Yes. I
am retiring at the end of this school year from teaching and coaching.
Okay. That's one of those things sometimes when you go and they say, okay, and what would you like? Oh, well, I would like so-and-so, and would you like A, B, C, D, or E? And you go, yes. And just bring them
right.
on. Yeah. So, so now, are you just going to kick back, or just ready to start down a different journey?
I'm headed in a different direction. It's kind of similar. I'm going to be joining FCA.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
And so it will allow me to continue to be around teams and coaches, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's
kind of hard to get that out of your system when you've done it for so long. I always said when I was coaching, the biggest thing to me wasn't as much the games as it was the practice, the locker room, the coaching folks that you were around, the fellowship, the relationships. Those are the things that are so hard to get away from. And I've heard that so much with professional athletes when they retire. It's the same thing. That's the thing that they miss the most, plus the structure. They've got to have that structure. I'm a structure guy. I've got to have routine. I got to have routine and structure. It drives me nuts. That's why me and my family don't get along, because they're seat of the pants. Whatever hits my mind right now, that's what I'm going to go do, and that drives me nuts.
Yes, my wife tells me all the time that she can set a clock by me.
Yeah, you can do that with me. Absolutely. That's not a bad thing.
You left out one of the things Mike does for a living too. He mows the grass on the fields.
That's a given.
That is a given, but there cannot be a blade of grass out of line, right, Mike?
That's correct.
That was always an extra supplement. That's how they justified. We can pay you a little bit more. You just need to mow the grass.
Right. Well, you left out my most important job, and that's chief bottle washer.
Okay. You are a bus driver, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen hires made by. You got your bus license? Okay, You're going to coach this. Yeah, because they couldn't find bus drivers. You spent a lot of years, everything in middle school, Mike?
Yes, sir. I've actually, I was 5 years at elementary school, but I've always coached at the middle school level, even in those 5 years of teaching at the elementary school. Mm-hmm. And I also coached JV baseball at the high school for 5 years.
Okay.
Why'd you stay there Why'd you stay middle school so long, Mike?
I was around the high school enough to know that I didn't want all the extra time involved with the high school coaching. Plus, I was able to develop a really good niche where I was, and I don't like change. Mm-hmm. And things were going really well, and so I didn't really have a desire to go anywhere else.
I got to tell you, when I decided to get into education, I got into coaching. I worked in the business world. Then I decided I want to get into coaching. Got into coaching. I said, I think I'd like to be in the classroom. So I went back to school, went to Lenore Ryan, got my the closest thing I could get, quickest thing was business education because that's my field. And LR and App were the only places that had it. And the lady that I had when I was in high school, this was when I was in my mid-30s, the lady I had when I was in high school as my typing teacher, she taught the same thing at Gaston College, and I used to teach part-time at Gaston College as well. And we were talking, and I was trying to decide, I thought that I had coached some on the high school level. I thought I wanted to do middle school. And it's so funny, she said, Lanny, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you're teaching typing, you're going to have every one of them in a year. Not just some. You're going to have every one of them. And she said, I'll go ahead and tell you, they ain't human. She said, middle school, they're aliens. They just and I've raised 5 kids. I can testify to that. There's so much change and physiological and social and psychological and hormonal, just so many things going. It's tough. So I admire you for staying in that long.
Well, I've been accused of being crazy before for staying in it that long, but middle school is the type of thing, either you love it mm-hmm. or you hate it. Mm-hmm. There is no in between.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That sums it up.
Mike, in your years of coaching, how the kids that you've seen and we've seen for a number of years, how they changed in terms of the way you coach them or what they bring to the table or bring to the team? How have you always hear about, kids are different now than they used to be. Are they that much different?
I don't know if they're different. I know they have a lot more options and opportunities mm-hmm. to get involved in than they used to, and I think loyalty is kind of fading away. Kids, and also there's no big games anymore because the kids are involved in so many sports and so many games. They play so many games throughout the year, and there's no such thing as a big game anymore.
When I was growing up, of course, Juju and I are just about the same age. You had Little League Baseball, and that was it.
Right.
And then you had to go – I lived in the county. You had to go to town to get that, to play Little League Baseball. And now kids have almost every opportunity for any sport at almost any age. You think about kids that haven't started to school practically have got t-ball, and they've got a basketball league for them, and they've got soccer on smaller fields. And that, you're right, they have so many more opportunities. I think it's good and bad because sometimes I think kids get too specialized and burn out, and then when they're really reaching age where they could really take advantage of the talents that they've developed, they've just had enough.
I just had that conversation with somebody last week. They start out so young, and they stay in a particular sport for all those years, and by the time they reach high school, they're done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it.
And I know kids that have played it through high school get that opportunity to go to the next level, and after about a year, they just don't want it anymore. And it's because they've done it for so long. And the other side of it, if you ever played any sport after high school, it's not as fun as it used to be. It becomes pretty much a job.
That's right.
Hey, Mike, at the middle school level, we have a really great opportunity to affect change. What gave you the most satisfaction as a coach? You've coached all the different sports. What gave you the most satisfaction to see kids do what they do at the middle school level?
Well, anytime that I see a kid change, not as an athlete so much, but I see their attitude about their classwork change, or I see how they improve their behavior, or that's the most satisfying thing to me, because I tell my teams all the time, at some point in time, this is going away. This basketball is going away. This baseball, this football, it's going away. You're not going to have it forever. And what's going to matter is what are you going to have to stand on at that point? And so I'm a lot more concerned with what type of person you are than I am what type of athlete you are.
We've talked about it all the time, and one of the things that I think you'll find, and one of the things that I guess you'd say means the most to me, is how many of my kids that I coach that are now in their mid-40s never miss a birthday, comment on things that I do on Facebook. Those relationships that you built in those days, and it starts at any level. I don't care what it is, because I'm a firm believer. Not all of them, but there's a lot of kids that don't get the kind of attention that you give them in a sport. And
I believe that.
And you're teaching life lessons through sports. That's the way I always approached it, because as you said, the wins and losses go away, but if you can leave that lasting impression to help them through life, that's the important thing.
Right. It was interesting. This past week, I coached my last game, and my family was all about the hoopla of me coaching my last game, and made a couple of social media posts. And I noticed some of my former players chimed in and made some nice comments about, them playing for me or whatever. But that's what I care about, is the relationship, and that relationship would last beyond now.
Yeah. And Mike, through the years, you've not only coached at Northview and you said Grandview, but you also coached against all the middle school teams in the area. You said you coached at the high school level. So you've seen in Catawba County some wonderful athletes that have gone from middle school to high school to college, even some of the pros. Who are some of the athletes, student athletes, that you saw you coach with or against that stick out to you that you remember the most?
Julius Powell was one who went on to play at Clemson for a little while, basketball, and he has two sons now that are he has a freshman and an eighth grader who are playing. And then Woodleaf, what was his first name? Juju?
Matt Woodleaf.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
Tim's son.
Yeah, he played at Mill Creek and then went on to play at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And Austin Johnson, who I was fortunate enough to coach. And
we've had Austin on.
Yeah.
And Trevin Parks, who is having a very successful professional basketball career, not in the United States, but overseas. He's been playing for quite a few years. Robert Dillingham is the next up and coming, and in my estimation was the best basketball player at our age that I had ever seen or coached against. And he's out in California as a junior right now, and has verbally committed, I think, North Carolina State, but he's outstanding as well. Daniel Willis, who is now back at Hickory High. I was around as an assistant and got to be around Daniel and watch him play, and then followed him through to Lenoir-Rhyne, and now he's back home. So, yeah, we've had Michael Collins, played in the NFL for a while, played at Wake Forest. And, there were quite a few kids on that 1996 Hickory football team, the state championship, who went on and played in college and were successful. So there's been quite a few come through.
You've coached Will Johnson, right?
I coached Will Johnson.
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. That was my first year at Grandview. Will was an 8th grader on that team.
Okay.
And we were 13-0 playing in the tournament finals and lost a heartbreaker. Should have never lost. Probably should have fired the coach after that game. But yeah, Will was the first one that I was got to be around and coach and see play.
Went on the Carolina Moorhead Scholar, Lanny.
Yeah.
Played at Carolina for a number of years.
Yeah.
With Bill Guthridge, was the head coach there.
So at the end of this school year, you're hanging it up.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on your accomplishments, and best wishes moving forward. And if you're going to work with the FCA, that is a wonderful organization. Yeah. A friend of mine that played at Maiden went on to Charlotte, and now he is in ministry. And I think he worked with the FCA for a while. Matt Johnson, if you remember Matt, that played quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
At Maine. Yeah, Matt's a good friend. And then another person, some guys that I played with, Perry Tuttle that played at Clemson, used to be pretty involved with the FCA, and I think Jeff Davis, another Clemson guy that I went to school with, they were both pretty involved with that. But a great organization. Mike, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, and anytime you've got anything you'd like to talk about or share with us on the FCA stuff, just feel free to let us know. Be happy for you to come on.
Guys, thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks,
Mike. Buddy. We appreciate it. Yeah, that's Matt Mackey, and he's a young man, Juju.
He's only a couple of years younger than us. He's 4 or 5 years younger than us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's young enough. He's younger than we are.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us for tonight. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for joining us on WLON. I'll get smoother as time goes on. I got too many buttons I got to push. Again, no coaches show tonight. That's a mistake in the scheduling for me. The coaches show will be Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, and we'll have a show for you from 6 to 7. That'll always be 6 to 7. During the week, we'll have a replay or something live. Now we're going to send you back live to WLON. Get your dancing shoes on. We got Chic and La Freak coming up. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow morning with Full